Hi, today we're going to have a quick look at Vanguard Standards and Poor's 500 ETF, also known by the ticker symbol of VUSA if you are in the UK, or VU if you are in America. So we're going to have a quick look at overview of the fund and what it's all about. Have a look at how many stocks are in it, and then have a look at sort of price performance and a little bit of detail on what is in it and how widely distributed it is. And it won't come as a shock, VUSA, it's based in the USA. What I'm going to do is use Vanguard's own platform. There are lots of other different platforms that you could buy VUSA from, for example Free Trade, Trading 212, and there are slight differences if you use those platforms, but we'll cover that in a second. So first of all, coming in, and what we want to do is what we offer, and we know that we are looking at an ETF, an exchange traded fund, so we can just click in to the ETF area, and then there are 27 of them to have a look at. We know it is USA based, so let's make it life simpler. Just click on the USA tab, and there we go, it is here. So let's go and have a bit of a look at what VUSA is. First of all, what do we have? We have on this landing page a bit of information about the fund. First of all, its market price. So as at today, that market price is £62.64 to buy one single share in the ETF. On Vanguard's website, you must buy a full share. On Free Trade and Trading 212, you can actually buy fractional shares of ETFs. There are 505 stocks, and I hear you say, how are there 505 stocks in the S&P 500? You have certain companies like Alphabet have two types of shares, hence why you end up with 505 different stocks within this ETF. Ongoing charge, really important. You will hear everybody talk about, and certainly in some of my other videos, which you can have a look at through the links down below or one of the cards. Investing is all around how low a price can you pay to actually buy an ETF, and 0.07 as it is here for VUSA is about as cheap as we're going to get in the UK. And then on Vanguard's risk rating, this comes in at a 6 out of 7. And if you are finding some value out of this kind of content, I would love it if you give me a like and think about subscribing and hit that notification bell as well, so that you can get future videos coming straight to you. Further down on this page, the objectives just gives you a quick idea that this is passive management, so it is literally just trying to track the S&P 500. And it is looking at, and we must remember this, just large sized US stocks. It's basically trying to track that performance of the index, and the benchmark, surprise surprise, is the market or the S&P 500 index. And don't forget, that is the capitalization weighted index, and we'll see that when we go into the holdings. So those that have larger market capitalization is more heavily weighted. Other things that are of interest on here is just some of the key fund facts. We're looking at, it's been around for just over 10 years, and it is total assets of almost 26 billion, so a reasonably large ETF fund. What is quite good is, while there is good capital growth historically within the S&P 500, you get a small quarterly dividend. I'm actually going to go and take a quick jump into the price and performance. So what do we have here? We have a very quick look on the left hand side, some price figures. So you end up what is the current market value, and that was the 62.64 that I mentioned earlier on, the 1 day change. A little bit of red, which isn't too bad, because I'm going to show you in a second how much this boy has come down all year to date. And you've got sort of 52-week high, 52-week low. Over in this side, you just get to see the historical over the last few trading days. Then you get down into the price analysis, and what you do get to do is you can either choose current, looking at the last few days, month, 3 months, right up to 18 months, and see what the performance has been over that time period. For the down past performance, and over the past 5-6 years, we see that it has been exceptionally positive from 2017 through to October 21. What we do see is it has dropped over the last year. It has dropped almost 15%. If you had invested £10,000 over a number of different time frames, so if you just stuck in £10,000 this year, I know it says dollars there, but it's 1 for 1 basically at the moment. What we do have is it would be worth 8,514 at the moment, and this is why we always say it is important to invest for the long term, not just quick wins. And that's what quite a few people have thought about with this fund. It has year-on-year averages of in around the 10% mark, so people start thinking that they can make money quick. There is no making money quick out of the stock market. It's a long-term play, or certainly that's my philosophy since the inception. So as we said, this was back in May 2012 that this was started. If you'd invested £10,000 back then, today that 10,000 would be worth, call it 35,000. A 3.5x wouldn't be too bad. So as I said, basically VUSA and the benchmark are almost identical. We're looking at 505 stocks in VUSA, whereas the benchmark only has 503, and nearly all of the other figures are exactly the same. What we can see is when we look further down, surprise, surprise, this is 100% regional exposure to the USA or to North America, and that is one of my concerns that I have with this, which I will cover when we come into the thoughts about VUSA. What we also see very much that this is those big tech companies, 26.4%, focusing on information technology, and that's because you have your Alphabets, your Teslas, etc. What are those holdings within the S&P 500? They're all the names that you know, and that is what I was talking about on the Why Are There 505, because you have Alphabet Class A, Alphabet Class C, and then Berkshire Hathaway has I think a Class A and a Class B. But these are constantly changing because, as I said earlier on, these are weighted. So because Apple is largest by market capitalization, it is almost 7% of the fund. The top 10 companies within the S&P 500 or within VUSA make up almost 28% of the whole fund. So what happens with these companies really does affect what happens to the whole ETF. Now, coming on to dividends, and everybody will know if you've been watching my channel before that I do love a dividend. So VUSA, while it is predominantly thought of being a growth ETF, it does still pay a 1.5% at the time of this recording dividend, and they are paid out quarterly. So remember, you only get 1 quarter of that 1.5 each quarter. And what we do need to think about with ETFs is have a look and see what the ongoing charge is, or the OCF. For this one, really low. And if you think of what Jack Bogle had said about the investing way, and he's the founder of Vanguard, it is invest into low cost ETFs. There are some minimums, so if you're just doing a one-off payment into the Vanguard side of things, you need to do £500 or set up a monthly direct debit for £100. On top of that, 0.07, you also have the Vanguard fee of 0.15%. There are other platforms out there that don't charge you any platform fee, so think about it. You have free trade and trading 212. There are links down below if you'd be interested in opening up an account, and you get a kickback as well of a free share, and I also get a little bit of a kickback as well. I do have some thoughts about VUSA as the single ETF that you would want to hold. I don't think it is. I think it is something to be in your balanced portfolio, and that's certainly how I do it. If you think about it, you do not have global diversification using this one single ETF, because it's 500 of the largest companies within the US, and it is 100% in the US. If you really did want to get global diversification, Vanguard do have a FTSE All World ETF, which gives you coverage of almost the whole world, and it's known under the ticker symbol VWRL. So if that is something that you might be interested in learning something more about, go and check out the video that I have linked down below, or you could think about potentially a bit more on the dividend side of things. I've also got a video on investing into dividend ETFs and sort of highlighting some of the ones that may be the best to go and have a look at. So hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, smash the like button and think about subscribing, and see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye.